So, hi, ladies and gentlemen, a spontaneous stream today. So the reason I'm doing this is because I have time today. So I have decided to live stream today, and we have a few things we're going to talk about, like the recent interview with John Little. Especially one part within this interview is talking about Bruce Lee and his fights and stuff, and training as well. Q Young, hi Thomas, hi Q, hi Young. So I think there are not gonna be too many people online today because it wasn't planned. Right, so how many do we have now? We have like 7 people. Well, it's not bad. And then we're gonna look at Bruce's letter to William Choing, and we're gonna talk about some contradictions people do about Jeet Kune Do and anything. And like always, it's just about historical facts and truth, and not about making up stuff. So I'm seeing something here. There's There you go. Oh, that's too bright, right? So let's go like this. This lighting with streams, it's really difficult to get it right every time. So I'm gonna try this webcam and the filters. So let's go here. Okay, so a little bit there. That's fine. It's a little bit flimmery again. It's really difficult to get this lighting. Look at this background. Oh man. Anytime you start the computer and restart it. So let's go with that. Give it a little bit more light here. We have more lights up. Here, there you go. Doesn't like this light. That's really strange. Okay. Yeah, that should be enough. Bart Simpson, Jeet Kune Do is the best sport. Yeah, no comment to this. If you define sport as any kind of martial art activity, you can say that. I mean, it's question also what people like to do, right? So, Robert, hi Robert, thank you for doing this, Thomas. No problem, Robert. So, I like to do that, right? So just, you know, you have family, you have work and everything, so I can't do this on a professional basis. Okay. You know, the funny thing is about the grappling stuff and Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do and everything, and then people always argue about whether Bruce incorporated grappling in Jeet Kune Do or he didn't, or would he have done it if he have lived, you know, right, up until today. Oh man, second. Let me try something. So I'm gonna turn this light other way around. Change the idea. Maybe this is better. Same. So that's the left side. Okay. It's like this. No, it's better. Okay. So, and it's always the same discussion, like since 20 years. But clearly, when you see his writings and also people who train with him, what he was thinking about that, and what he believed actually, and that's something that John Little is also mentioning in the interview, which is basically exactly what we are teaching people and what we are telling all the time. Nothing new for us, but it's a kind damaging for people who were well claiming otherwise, and so they have to go after this and after us or whatever. You know, it's just like in the politics, the same. You get attacked, but we are grown up. And then we're gonna present facts, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is this letter from Bruce Lee to William. And yeah, well, let's look at this. So there it is. Is it big enough? So is there maybe too much lighting? Turn this off. Oh, that's better. Not so much better. I don't understand. Okay. Why? So, maybe try this one again. No, it's okay. Okay, so Farid Ahmed said, have you checked Joaquin Marcelo's ST Street Defense System? No, I don't watch his videos. And also, I would like you to check out the guy. He teaches, I think, most realistic Taekwondo Jeet Kune Do out there. Well, to tell you the truth, it's, I mean, a lot of this stuff he's doing is what Tommy has done like 20 years ago on his videos. And then people started to copy him. You have never seen stuff like this before, Tommy. Okay, you always seen something else, Taekwondo kickboxing. And then people started to incorporate groin kicks and eye jabs when Tommy started to point out these things, you know. But before, the people just, you know, so much about this subject. Okay, so Bruce saying is writing. So I was looking over my old mail, and it's not email, you know, guys. Some people don't realize that emails are something recent. And found most of the letters he wrote to me. The latest one, or the latest one that I found, has this address. So I write this letter in the hope that even if you have moved somehow or another, this will reach you. It has been nearly 10 years now since I've been in the States, and when I sit down some evening, lost in my recollection of my memories, you are among one of those that often pop up. I sincerely hope that you and your family are enjoying the best of everything. So he was like 10 years ago. He moved 10 years ago to the US. So by the time of writing of this letter, Bruce must have been 28. Okay, right? Because when he moved to the US, he was 18, 17, 18, something like this. So, Bart Simpson, I want to be like Tommy Caruthers, and yeah, I want to train every day. So I'm not sure if you are a troll, so I'm gonna watch you. So Farid, he adds also some BJJ, but simplified watch ST video. So a guy who, a former private student of me, had the book from Marcelo, okay? And he gave that book to me. That's somewhere back behind me with other books. And I just went through the pictures, you know. And you're right, there's some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in there as well, but it's totally impractical in the street. Because I have done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a short while as well. What Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is aiming for is, you know, gaining the control over your opponent on the ground, like the top mount and side mount, and then from there going to do a joint lock, leg lock, arm lock, or a submission, right? So that's what you're working on in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But that's absolutely what you wouldn't do in Jeet Kune Do, okay? So, because it takes too much time, it takes too much energy, and there are far quicker ways to end the game, okay? So during the last 10 years, Chinese martial art has always been a major part of my activity. Though I'm now in a new field, okay, so he is now 28, of acting, my achievements is in the martial art is most satisfying, and the word Chinese has come a long way in the circle of martial arts due to the fact that all the three of the US Karate Freestyle champs are studying under me. Okay, right? William, I have lost faith in the Chinese classical arts, though I still call mine Chinese because basically all styles are product of land swimming, even Wing Chun school. So my line of training is more toward efficient street fighting. So when I say this, Jeet Kune Do is efficient street fighting, you know, on my channel or on my video or in the comment section, and then you see this idiot screenshotting this and making fun of this, and at the same time he has a Bruce Lee picture on his wall in his training studio. I mean, he's making fun of Bruce. And then why are you gonna use a Bruce and Bruce name and Bruce picture in promoting of the stuff you're teaching if you're actually making fun of this? So it doesn't make any sense. This is how hypocritical these guys are, and that's the reason why I don't ever talk to these guys. So you don't talk to idiots, right? So my line of training is more toward efficient street fighting with everything goes, wearing headgear, gloves, chest guard, sheen knee guards, etc. For the past 5 years now, I've been training the hardest and for purpose, not just dissipated hit-miss training. Dissipated. Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. You know, I don't know every word in English. Most of the English I'm doing is self-taught, so guys, be reminded of that. I had English in school, right? But you know, just nothing like intense teaching. So I'm running every day, sometimes up to 6 miles. I've named my style Jeet Kune Do. Reason for my not sticking to Wing Chun is because I sincerely feel that this style has more to offer regarding efficiency. Well, Jeet Kune Do, right? And now he says, and I have added to Wing Chun several different martial arts, and I call this Jeet Kune Do. Nah, he didn't say that, right? Because it's not that. So I mentioned all the above because it's a major event in my life, and I like to fill you in with it. Okay, now he's talking about TV stuff. Okay, so, oh no, I just turned off the music. That's no problem. So, as you can see, right, so this letter is actually pretty well known, but most of the time it's ignored by people who just want to tell you that Jeet Kune Do is just mixed martial arts. Literal mixed martial arts, because even mixed martial arts is not mixed martial arts, yeah, right? So they basically use, you know, Muay Thai and then some kind of grappling, and then that's it. You have most of the time just two arts in there. So there you go. Give me my music. There it is. So, and that was the letter, right? So the interesting part with this is when he said that he still calls his art like Chinese art, but later on, you know, in the book, the Incomparable Fighter, Bruce Lee, the Incomparable Fighter from Mito Ohara. Mito wrote how Bruce said to him that he can't no longer call Jeet Kune Do a Chinese art because There's so little Chinese in it. And if Jeet Kune Do was just Wing Chun with added some other stuff, I mean, there would be a really great chunk of Chinese art in it. But because Bruce threw Wing Chun away, and all the techniques that comes with it, right, makes sense, he said he couldn't call it Chinese anymore. Okay. Another fact. So, Farid, what do you think about biomechanics, about Marcelo stuff? Well, I mean, nobody's perfect, right? What is lacking? So I'm not gonna, Farid, I'm not gonna talk about the other guys here, you know, right? Because the moment you start this, you know, you cannot win, okay? So, Q Young, I tell you once, guys, I share my Jeet Kune Do training with Thomas with some friends. They say that Jeet Kune Do is definitely an underrated martial art. Well, Young, I mean, you're right. It's not underrated. It's just not known. 99.999% that passes as Jeet Kune Do in the world is simply not. And people just don't know it, okay? And Q Young is once students, one of it's my student from my school. So Farid, I'm learning under Joaquin. Are you training under him? Are you in Spain, or how are you learning under him? So Axel, hi Axel. Like boxing and fencing, Jeet Kune Do is step-by-step projects, which each maneuver must be repeated many times. Absolutely. There's another thing. So when you say that you have to do repetitions, so you have you repeat your techniques and maneuvers, like Bruce said that, then there's from time to time an idiot who then posts another quote of Bruce Lee that Jeet Kune Do shouldn't be stylized and there should not be a fixed pattern in it. So there's a difference if you have a classical martial arts fixed pattern stuff that's not realistic, or you're actually training maneuvers that are realistic, that are efficient, and that you can actually use in real combat. Because you have to repeat it in order to master anything. That's how your damn brain works. If you don't do that, you know, you have to repeat. If you're Formula 1 driver, you have to drive that car, and you have to repeat the rounds, and you repeat the rounds, because if you don't, if you say, oh, you know, I'm if you like say no, I mean that would be a fixed pattern, so I'm not gonna drive that much, you're gonna lose. As simple as that. There's so much stupidity in Jeet Kune Do scene when it comes to training methods. I mean, and at the same time, these guys train exactly the same drills, the same patterns, the same exercise since 1973, basically, right? Another contradiction. It's funny. Robert, so studying HEMA, fencing, and enjoy discovering one of philosophical roots in Jeet Kune Do in theory of fence, especially George Silver, like 1595. Of course, there are some differences. Yeah, you sent me the email where you can see that how there was an emphasis on countering attacks actually before intercepting, and then during, and then after, you know. So it's same in Jeet Kune Do. It's the same actually in any martial art. If you don't think about styles, it's the same in any combat. You can attack or counter the movement just before it starts, and then as it evolves the movement, right, the attack, and then you can evade and attack. Then it's just before, during, after. Okay. Wolfgard, Joaquin, who, never heard of him. You have probably seen him. That's the guy that always had this head. What you say in English? Not a towel, but like on his head. the Spanish guy. Farid, could Tommy Caruta's Jeet Kune Do be adopted for boxing? And absolutely, you could use this for boxing, for punching. You could use it for punching, okay? Because these are basically mechanics from old school boxing, footwork and everything. Most MMA fighters are really bad punchers comparing to boxers, okay? So that comes with the nature how they train. You know, they train a lot of grappling, and therefore they don't punch as well as a guy who trains all the time. So okay, you know, that's just the nature of the things. If you do 20 different things, you're gonna be just as little, you know, you're gonna be bad at all those 20 things, because you can't put as much time in each of them. Okay, so Farid, I'm in Terrassa, Barcelona, Spain, training under advanced coach Carlos Abreu. Okay, I guess this guy has his organization as well. He's my coach and direct student of Joaquin Marcelo. Bart Simpson, my English is not so good. I mean, how is your English not so good? You had the entire animated series, man. I'm just joking. Tommy Carruthers is a great role model. He is, when it comes to martial arts, definitely. Farid Ahmed, there's no TC Jeet Kune Do around me. There's basically no TC Jeet Kune Do anywhere in most places of the world. Everything else is concept JKD, yes, and so therefore people think Jeet Kune Do is actually this, you know. That's a big problem. I mean, I don't think there's a single other martial art on this planet and in history that has been misrepresented as much as Jeet Kune Do. Unbelievable. So what's the next one? Headband. No, it's not a headband. The headband would be like just a headband, but it's what, like, okay, let me Google. Let me Google this. Headscarf. Okay, he always has this kind of headscarf on the head. For what reason ever. So Robert Wandar, Farid, there's only early Junfang Kung Fu in Seattle. Yes. Exostone bandana, maybe. Yeah, this could be also how you say to the headscarf. Anthony Casey, hi Anthony. All the Kung Fu is not Jeet Kune Do. There's give me that. Can I get make this chat bigger? So, oh no, I didn't want to do that. So, so it would be nice if I could make the letters bigger. Okay. Yeah, that's something they could fix, they could change, so I could go to options and just make the letters bigger, but it's okay. If it's like it is, then it's like this. So, all the Kung Fu, it's not Jeet Kune Do. They are showcasing Bruce Lee's early stuff and not try Jeet Kune Do and trap guys. A hand when he's punching at you, they need to empty their cup. Love your videos. Yes, absolutely. So they just, like Tommy said, most of the people who do Jeet Kune Do, they are stuck in the past. You can, even when I did my last seminar in my school, like, when was it? 1 year or 2 years ago? I don't remember quite. And there were two, there was a guy from like from nearby. He was training in a different city, like I guess JKD concepts, and he was heavily like Wing Chun oriented guy. And even when I showed him, look, when you get, if you even get blocked and you get trapped, you know, you can go around, and I showed him, and I go, okay, try to trap me when I punch, and it didn't work. And it still doesn't convince these guys, because they just they don't want to give up all this stuff they were doing. And Bruce was, he put, you know, like tons of hours in something, and when he couldn't make it work, despite training this too much, he wasn't afraid to throw it away, and also to tell his students to throw it away, you know. And most teachers would never do that, because they're just shaking, and they are afraid they're gonna lose some dollar, because they're gonna lose the students then. Because imagine you teach your students for 5 years a technique or tactic or strategy, and they put all their money, you know, and time in training, and then 5 years later you come, okay, we're gonna stop training this, instead we're gonna go with this, because the old stuff doesn't work anymore. And that's the same reason why basically all these guys from Seattle didn't stuck with, even probably Jesse Glover, you know, he didn't stuck with Bruce in further training and everything. So he stuck to Wing Chun, and then he modified it further. But you know, Bruce was evolving all the time. He was throwing stuff away, and people, most people didn't, you know, they thought probably, wait, when he claimed this was working, and now he's throwing this away, and he's wants to teach me something else. Who's going to say that's not going to repeat like in 2 years down the road? And that's exactly the same reason why all these guys from today, even with all this information, still they stuck to this old stuff, you know, so much. You can, you know, like Tommy does from time to time, teach this for historical purposes, you know, but you don't just waste time with it, and you train it into your muscle memory, and then like later on you have to throw it away. So wait a second. So, how many people we have? Nineteen guys here. Man, guys, I'm really thankful that you're here, even though this is like really spontaneous stream. Nothing planned. So I don't talk in like just in the mic. I actually talk to you. So, okay, right. So Jeet Kune is had its evolution, you know, from classical martial arts to non-classical fighting method, and people just don't want to throw stuff away. That's they're just emotionally attached to this. Axel Stone, 200 finger jabs into the eyes all day, right? So there was a time Bruce trained like this. Okay. Should have done that to Jason for his from Friday. Yes. I've seen some funny, short clips from Jason in Manhattan from 1989, from the year. And it was funny. I guess I have to watch this movie. So Axel again. So I have talked Jeet Kune. I have thought Jeet Kune was concepts before I discovered Tommy. Yeah, you mean, I mean, you see how much propaganda was put in all these years, all these decades. So people think this, they believe this, and then, you know, you come and you say, well, look, it's not like this, it's like this. And they just get mad, especially if they teach this stuff or they have learned this stuff from somebody. But anybody who is a little bit intelligent, he is gonna say, well, okay, so let's change the training. If if this makes sense to me. If you say, because everything we are showing, everything we are saying, it comes actually from Bruce and principles and stuff. And if you don't agree with this, then you don't agree with Jeet Kune Do, then you should just drop the name. Because, okay. Wolfgang, wow, I can get an advanced certification in Jeet Kune Do at maestro level from Dr. Joaquin Almeida for the low price of 40 US dollar. Sorry, Thomas, I can be a third level instructor by August 2nd. Yes, I know. I know, that's why people go there. And then these guys, they get instructors after, you know, like 1 or 2 or 3 seminars, and then they come in my channel and then they want to tell me something about Jeet Kune Do. That's a classic. I have dealt with these people since basically 2007 or something. And then at one point you just, you know, go F yourself, you know. I just don't answer to these guys. Block them instantly, because you can recognize immediately that's the type of the guy, the way he does his comment, because it's always the same pattern how they write. The same guys. So, Axel Stone. Is that when the guy tries to box him on the roof? Yes, absolutely. And then Jason punches his head off. Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, that maybe it was a video from your community tab. I don't know. Tab. Not really sure. Farid, Wolfgang, I was talking about Joaquin Marcelo, not Joaquin Almeria. Yeah. Okay, so guys, let's watch that interview. I have to go to my recent videos that I have watched. Because that's really interesting, right? So so for guys who don't know who John Little is, John Little is the guy. So that's the full video. We're gonna go there. So minute, what was it? Minutes 57 or what did you say? 57:20 or something. Okay. So John Little is the guy who had access to all notes Bruce Lee made in the United States during his whole life in the United States. So he got these notes from Linda Lee, and it was like he made the copies of it. Right, so my mic is a little bit too loud, I guess. He made all the copies. So it was like what did he say? Like 80 pounds, like 40 kilograms of paper. And he went through all these notes. And he himself in an interview said there was a lot of contradictory quotes or notes Bruce was writing down. At the time point, he realized that he had to sort these notes by date, you know, so by the timestamp, time date, how you say it, okay? Because some older stuff Bruce wrote, he abandoned them, and later on, it wasn't important anymore. So, like Jeet Kune Do Evolution, okay? And that's very important when you train Jeet Kune Do, that you remember that there's the old stuff, and then there's the later stuff, okay? So, let's make it a full screen. Pause. So let's go here. So that's it. So.
And you saw Tarantino's depiction of Bruce Lee and.
Okay, wait a sec. So I want to make actually the music like here. And then let's go there.
His most recent movie, and what did you think of that?
Well, my first reaction was that, hey, it's a movie. You know?
So now he's talking about this Bruce Lee scene in Tarantino's movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? So the movie actually was really good. I like the movie very much.
You can make Bruce Lee be whatever you want in your own movie. I don't care. And I like the ending of it, how he's, staved off this brutal murder. And I thought that was really clever. My problem with Tarantino came when he attempted to defend his portrayal of Bruce Lee on Joe Rogan's podcast. Instead of saying, hey, listen, guys, it's a movie. It's a movie. I could have had Brad Pitt's character beat up King Kong. It would be a movie. It doesn't mean it's real. But he didn't go that route. Instead, he said, well, Bruce Lee hated American stuntmen and he was hitting stuntmen. So the producer called in.
Interesting that that story about hating stuntmen or hitting Bruce actually hitting stuntmen. I never heard that before. That was something new to me. Before that's Quentin Tarantino movie story.
A ringer, this judo Gene LaBelle to come and teach him a lesson. And
I knew Gene LaBelle.
And the funny thing is, again, Gene LaBelle. There's a story. That story was also new to me. That apparently Gene LaBelle should teach Bruce Lee a lesson, and there's also a parallel story about the same, where Gene LaBelle was apparently did teach a lesson, the same lesson, Steven Seagal. I guess this rumor comes from same idiots, because as it appears, the producer of that movie where that should have happened with Steven Seagal said also that never happened. So internet is very, very, really interesting.
So
I knew Gene LaBelle too, but I also know that story is utter bullshit. Because I knew Bruce's daytime diaries. I interviewed LaBelle. LaBelle told me he went to Bruce's school and they were going to work out there, but the mats were too thin, the tatami mats. So he had to go to Gene's school. Problem is, Bruce didn't have mats at all in the school. And number two, the school wasn't open when Bruce knew Gene LaBelle. The other thing was Gene said, trained with him privately and secretly for an entire year. And yet Bruce never incorporated anything resembling what Gene LaBelle did in terms of judo or wrestling.
Okay, so let's listen to this again.
And a ringer, this judo Gene LaBelle to come and teach him a lesson. And
I knew
working to Gene's school. And yet Bruce never incorporated anything resembling what Gene LaBelle did in terms of judo or wrestling.
So Bruce never incorporated anything resembling what Gene LaBelle was doing. So there's another. So you see these guys, they're always lying all the time. All the time. It's same today. And then, the moron there from that continent. I've posted this interview, and then he posted other interview from Gene LaBelle, where Gene LaBelle is telling his lies, and you have here clearly John Little saying this can't be true because you're gonna hear it from him. The Bruce never mentioned Gene LaBelle in his notes, not once. There's no single note in Bruce Lee's diaries that Gene LaBelle was in his school and was training with him, and Gene LaBelle claimed that Bruce trained like 1 year with him. Everything is just made up, same as today. The people just made stuff up to make them look bigger and more important than they actually are.
It was Bruce Lee was the kind of guy. Number one, he was a hair trigger guy, and if you tried to embarrass him on the set amongst his colleagues, there was going to be trouble. And Gene LaBelle, for all his AAU wrestling championships, is a big, strong, powerful, capable grappler, no question about it. Very tough guy. But you have to understand, Bruce Lee's closing speed from 8 feet away was 5/100ths of a second. And what he practiced daily was finger jabs to the eyes, not to take eyes out, but to scratch the cornea.
Listen to this again.
And daily was from 8 feet away was 5/100ths of a second. And what he practiced daily was finger jabs to the eyes, not to take eyes out, but to scratch the cornea. And he.
Do I have to say more? So that's basically, I mean, you take this, then you take, you know, the other people who are saying things about Bruce. Longstreet. Finger jab is the most effective attack, did Bruce say there? Because that's not just a movie fighting scene. That's actually a series where Bruce really introduced Jeet Kune Do to the public. His martial art. That was real. It's not like Enter the Dragon cinema fighting choreography, right? And here, John Little says himself. And he had all the damn notes Bruce had. Copied, sectioned them, okay, right? Read through them, analyzed, and there you have.
He used to hang party masks that you would wear. And every night he'd do about 2,000 of those thrusts through the holes, the eye holes in that, until he got to the point where he could do that and the mask wouldn't move. So you've got 5/100ths of a second closing speed to the eyes.
And the other thing is, he says he needed like a half a second to close from like 8 feet. What's 8 feet? 8 feet is like almost 3 meters. So you don't even have to close from that far away with a finger jab. You would actually cycle from that distance. So what I want to say, usually you're not that far away. You're like maybe 2 meters away, or roughly under 2 meters, depends on your size. And then he would close even faster, you know, even under the reaction time of a normal human being, which is about 2/100ths of a second or 3/100ths of a second. And then he would actually get you before your brain can actually process the movement. Okay. Think about that.
And that's his weapon. That's what he practiced. And according to Tarantino, LaBelle picked Bruce up and carried him around the set.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he did. I don't know. Van Williams, who was the star of the set and was there for every shot, never told me that. The producer, Charles Fitzsimons, never told me that. That'd be a pretty major incident. But, you know, the reality is Gene LaBelle did one episode of The Green Hornet, and it was episode 11. If this problem with stuntmen was occurring, why would you wait if you're the stunt director 11 episodes before you do something about it? And number two, you know the film world. If I'm the producer of the show and Bruce is hitting stuntmen and causing problems, and I find out that you have called in a ringer, a tough guy, to teach my co-star a lesson, you won't work on this in Hollywood again. You're done. Because if you hurt my guy, he's out. It costs the production money. Not going to happen. And if you're an aspiring...
The funny thing is also about the Green Hornet, right? The Green Hornet, when was the year of the Green Hornet? Let's check this. I think it was 96.
Stuntman like Gene LaBelle.
It was 1966 or something like this. Green Hornet series. So Green Hornet was, yeah, 1966. It's like a year before Bruce actually called his art Jeet Kune Do, because it was late 1967. And you can see, I think I have all the episodes of the series on the DVD for the guys who still know what the DVD is. And you can see a single straight punch, straight blast, or that kind of Wing Chun technique, right? Of course, all these kicks and punches are a little bit exaggerated for the dramatical purposes, but I can't recognize any Wing Chun in there, right? So Oh, let's go.
You're not working again. So the whole story to me is complete and utter nonsense.
So let's go again.
In Hollywood again. You're done. Because if you hurt my guy, he's out. It costs the production money. Not going to happen. And if you're an aspiring stuntman like Gene LaBelle, you're not working again. So the whole story to me is complete and utter nonsense. And the other thing is, when I worked at the estate.
So you see how he made arguments that the story is bullshit because nobody remembered that happened. And also, like he says, you send a guy to teach a main actor or semi-main actor of the series a lesson. You're never gonna work there anymore. So that doesn't make any sense, and it probably never happened because it's the same with Steven Seagal. Same story. I mean, you can think about Steven Seagal what you want, but that also never happened with Gene LaBelle. Somehow Gene LaBelle is always going around, and what? He's teaching a lesson some martial art actors. Yeah, give me a break, man. You know, that's the same story like Rick Young and Tommy Carruthers and Ken Shamrock and Tommy Carruthers, right? Howard, the BS story. Man, you are grabbing some straws, or how you say it in English. The facts are killing you. So
I had access to Bruce Lee's daytime diaries, and they were very comprehensive. I knew and could see who he met with, what he did every day of the week from 1966 to 1973. Interestingly enough, Gene LaBelle's name doesn't show up once.
you see,
Not once. He didn't have his phone number, didn't have the address of his school. And that to me is very suspicious for someone that LaBelle claims went to his school for an entire year to train.
so classic. Oh, there's this famous guy, Bruce Lee. Yeah, I talked to him, of course. And you know the reason Bruce actually didn't publish a JKDtv book when he made this pictures for the fighting method book was because already then, when Bruce became kind of famous for the Green Hornet series, already at that time people opened martial arts schools and claiming they were taught by Bruce Lee, or Bruce Lee was their student. So now imagine Bruce Lee is dead. How many people are going to do this after his death? Because after he died, because he can't really say anything about this. Another classic, man. I told once Tommy, you know, once you're gone, it's exactly the same thing's gonna happen. There several people are gonna pop up and they're gonna say I was a student of Tommy and stuff, and they're gonna just make more mess. So
LaBelle's fibbing.
Yeah.
He was fibbing. Well, you know,
you got to understand about LaBelle too, though, is that this guy he's a self-promoter par excellence. He came from the wrestling background,
self-promoter
wrestling background, so he knows how to play the heel, right? And this does not diminish. This is the problem I have with martial arts. Most martial artists feel that they can't advance themselves without diminishing someone else. I saw it.
So there you go.
With Chuck Norris, I saw it with Bob Wall, I saw it with Gene LaBelle, I saw it with June Rhee. The guy who impressed me the most from a grappling perspective in martial arts is a guy named Hayward Nishioka. He was a 4-time AAU champion. He was a Pan Am gold medalist in judo. Very, very, and a black belt in karate, Shotokan. This guy is, like, if you want a judoka, this guy's as good as it gets. And like I say, he won the AAU title twice as many times as LaBelle did. So he was good. And he told me, he said, there's nothing I could do on Bruce. He would shut me down before I could do anything. And he said...
So that's, you know why is that so? That's the reason, because a grappler, he has to come close. And because he has to grab you, man. If you want to grab somebody, you have to come really close. And And this gives you plenty opportunities just to strike the eyes or punch him or kick him. Okay? If you know how to punch, how to kick, and how to strike the eyes, that's you know, you have to know how to do that. And all these guys in the UFC 1 and you know, against Royce and back then and 2. So sorry, but they really didn't know how to kick and how to punch. Okay, and they were just mediocre martial artists. And even now, when MMA progressed, you see how grappling is less, even under the rules, is less relevant, as people know how to punch and kick better than like in the first ones. And Bruce was really excellent at that. And the minute the guy wants to come you just strike the eyes. And even the single leg takedown, because in a kind of Jeet Kune Do stance, the guy can't really do a double leg takedown with you. If you use a footwork, maybe he can catch your front leg, but not the back leg. Even then, he has to come close and he presents his eyes to you, because I have done already a few videos with this. You just go into his eyes, you know. He's tried to hold your hip, your legs, and his eyes just free on the tablet to take. Okay, so man, it's common sense.
And finally, I got so frustrated. He said that I told him, I said, you know, my world is the ground. That's where I dominate. He said, what would you do if I lay on the ground and you had to come to me? And he said, Bruce looked at him and said, well, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just walk away. But then Bruce said, but don't get up. You know? And that's the thing. Bruce was a striker. He knew that if he was up against a guy like yourself, that if you grabbed him, it's 50-50 now. And it's probably going to favor you because you're bigger and stronger. So he wasn't interested in getting in a...
Who is this guy, Mike Pellegrino? Who is this guy? Mike Pellegrino. Oh, he's a football. No, that's a different Mike Pellegrino. That's a different Mike Pellegrino. Okay, you got anybody guys? Anybody knows who this guy is? Because I think he said, what did John just say?
Favor you because you're big. If you grabbed him, he was up against a guy like yourself. That if he was against a guy like yourself, probably because he's a big guy or something. Grabbed him, it's 50-50 now, and it's probably going to favor.
But even if he gets grabbed, man, I mean, your eyes are still free to take.
For you, because you're bigger and stronger. So he wasn't interested in getting in a roll and submission type thing. His thing was, how do you end?
What did he say? Let's listen to this again.
And it's probably going to favor you because you're bigger and type thing. His thing was, how do you end this? And getting in a going to favor you because you're bigger and stronger.
Again.
So he wasn't interested in getting in a roll and submission type thing. His thing was, how do you end this as quickly as possible?
What? That's something totally new. Nobody knew about this. Let's go again.
A roll and submission type thing. So he wasn't interested in getting in a roll and submission type thing. His thing was, how do you end this as quickly as possible? And what he went for were the things that didn't get stronger through training. Your throat, your eyes, your groin, your knee.
No.
Those were his targets. And he would...
No. If I was the guy from this continent, I would say no. What should I do now? I have to find something that contradicts this claim fast. And then I'm gonna post some interview from him where he says something different, maybe. Hey guys, come on, get real. Okay, so let's listen to this again.
And what he went for, stronger. And And that's the thing. Bruce was a striker. He knew that it's 50-50 now, and it's probably going to favor you.
Okay,
if you're
listen
bigger
to
and
this.
stronger. So he wasn't interested in getting in a roll and submission type thing. His thing was, how do you end this as quickly as possible? And what he went for were the things that didn't get stronger through training. Your throat, your eyes, your groin, your knee. Those were his targets. And he had no interest in sport competition.
No.
He was, for whatever his reasons, he was interested in how can I defend myself.
In this moment, Rhino died.
In the street, because that's where something's going to go down. And I compiled recently, going through all the interviews that I've done and the research I've...
So guys, we can end the stream here. Oh man, this is amazing. I mean, how much can you actually present for the people, for them to believe that the Earth is not flat? How much?
done of his street record, and he was 36-0. And as far as sparring goes, you can throw another 27-0 on that, because he sparred professional boxers like Joey Orbio. He sparred heavyweight karate guys like Joe Louis, grapplers like Hayward Nishioka. No one ever got to him. So,
but grappling is so sophisticated now. How do you think he would have fared against an in his prime MMA guy who's got great grappling and great striking?
It just depends. I mean, again, grappling, it's true that that's changed. You've got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, and you've got mixed martial arts. So you got guys who can kick, they can strike, they can grapple. These are dangerous guys. But the thing that with Bruce is, you're still dealing with a human being. You know, let's say this guy's got this great grappling knowledge, and you take his eyes out. Now what do you got? You got a sitting duck. And the problem, Bruce also understood lag time. So if I move to you to strike you, your subconscious is immediately processing what's going on before it formulates what a response is, either stepping back out of the way, intercepting me, maybe blocking me, maybe hitting me. All these things are going through your subconscious, and that takes time. Not a lot of time, but it takes time. And Bruce knew that. So when he launched an attack, it was non-telegraphic, and again, a closing speed of 5/100ths of a second, and probably going for your eyes. And now you got to respond to it. That's tough for anyone, no matter what your discipline, to do.
Leslie Moore, I think Bruce Lee would have evolved with every new martial art that was created. Okay, then tell me what new martial arts were created since Bruce. Okay, because Bruce knew Muay Thai, he knew grappling, judo. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is basically judo, right? Old school judo. And there was kickboxing. He was teaching kickboxing. The kickboxing actually started with Bruce and Joe Louis, and what new martial art was created, and what would that change in Bruce Lee's principles? Like he said, ending a fight quickly and attacking targets like eyes, throat, groin, and knees. What would that change actually? Because that's another misconception, is that adapting in Jeet Kune Do is mimicking your opponent's style, which is not. Okay, Kuyababo combatives is bullshit, man. These guys can punch and kick for real. They just do respond to punches and kicks and or grabs in kind of, I don't know, kind of manner. This, like, you know, it's just like non-martial artists are doing a seminars and defending themselves against the techniques, but this takes a you have to know how to move, how to punch, how to kick, how to evade, and all these skills. Let's not talk there. Okay. So
Deal with how would he do in an octagon? Not well. You've taken away most of his tools. You can't bite, you can't eye gouge, you can't kick in the groin, you can't kick a guy in the head when he's down. You've got a referee that's going to step in if it gets one-sided. You got a corner man. You get a rest. I mean, that wasn't his world, you know. As he said, once you strap on gloves, you're dealing in rules.
Yeah.
And his idea was that fighting, qua fighting should be no rules. It's whatever you need to do to survive.
Man, you have no idea how much critics we had to take, but just saying these facts about Bruce.
And that's how he trained. And unlike a lot of people that pay lip service to that concept, he lived it. I mean, this guy trained like an MMA fighter, but not just for 8 weeks prior to a big bout. He trained that way 365 days a year. So he was psychologically, there was something going on there because he always anticipated a fight. There's always going to be a fight. Whoever he saw, he was measuring the guy up.
Yes. Okay. So guys, don't remember where we are now. I'm just gonna take a little break and I'm gonna come back. So. So I'm back. Okay, so let's read some comments and let's respond to those. Okay, I assume most of you guys are actually adults. So oh my god, so let's respond to you guys. $200, 2,000 finger jabs, yes. Axel Stone, so did Jesse fall out with Bruce? I don't really understand what happened there. Doesn't seem like anyone stuck with him from the early days. Yes, I guess that's the thing, because, you know, like when Bruce moved away, the guys didn't move away with him. Which, I mean, the most guys even today, when they think that Jeet Kune Do is that, and you show them the late stage, what Bruce was doing, even they don't move. They just stick to this. I guess that's the psychology of people. They just don't want to let go. They maybe they feel they have invested too much time in that stuff, so just throw it away, and they don't want to relearn all the fighting, because it's difficult. It's really difficult. Most people who come to my school, I'm gonna tell you now how it is. The Wing Chun people, for the Wing Chun people, also for people who have trained Wing Chun for a very long time, multiple years, it's the hardest. The Jeet Kune Do is actually very hard for them to learn. Compared to all other martial arts styles, Wing Chun people have most difficulties to learn Jeet Kune Do. To unlearn all this stiff mechanics, stiff footwork, and to become like a Jeet Kune Do loose guy, very, very difficult. Wolfgard, it's Q Young. It's not impressed because for that price you can buy a black belt and some other Jeet Kune Do concepts instructor in China. Yeah. Selling Jeet Kune Do certificates. It took me over 10 years to get full instructor on the Tommy. Over 10 years. I'm something 2018 when I started like a 2007 on the Tommy, and I already trained before him, you know. So it took me 10 years on the Tommy to get there. Where I'm now. It said when the guy tries to box him on the roof. So yeah, we already talked about that. So Farid Ahmed, Joaquin Almeria does Kuisho Jeet Kune Do concepts. What the F is that? And Joaquin Marcelo does Ted Wong Jeet Kune Do. The funny thing is about Ted Wong Jeet Kune Do, there was no Ted Wong Jeet Kune Do until shortly before Ted died, you know. So that's just before Ted died, they came up with that stuff. And I guess that was some of his instructors, and it wasn't really himself that came up with that idea. Yeah. Because he always just talked Bruce Lee's. He said actually he talked Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. But very sport oriented, right? So. Yeah. Oh. How much sugar is in this, man? I usually don't drink stuff like this, but it's so warm up here. Okay. So, Anthony Casey, in 20 years' time, you think that real Jeet Kune Do will be a norm, or are we really up against it? In 20 years' time, no. That's not gonna happen. I think Jeet Kune Do is lost because too little people are really capable to either to admit or to recognize what it is. And you know, 1 over 10,000. And all these 10,000 are just hammering down. Axel, I heard Steven Seagal really did beat up his stuntman, lol, but regardless of this hate, Seagal made some great movies. Yes, I like his first 3 or 4 movies very much. That I have bought them on Amazon Prime, so funny movies. But you know, Seagal is fits in all this martial arts stuff, so you know, where people have to put the other people down to make themselves look bigger. Which we are also accused of that, but we are not actually putting other people down. We are putting the fact down that Jeet Kune Do is being sold as something that it's not actually. That's the problem. And then of course the people who are selling Jeet Kune Do as this product, they of course feel attacked, and they, you know, it's just like goes in circle. But you know, I mean, if you want to teach it right, you have to address this inconsistencies. Hyper Universe, Octavio takes notes on all this and doesn't miss a single video of Tommy and Thomas. If he'd only drop his ego to learn from someone in IFO, he'd have to start from scratch. He knows nothing. How do you know that he's taking notes from my channel? Do you know him, or is this just you think that that's like this? So Farid Ahmed, we talk a lot about James Coburn, also Jack Dempsey. Yeah, I mean, James Coburn was an actor, but Jack Dempsey, Bruce was influenced by Jack Dempsey a lot. Axel Stone, I knew he's have to have a response video about this video. He can't accept he might be wrong about anything. Yes, that's why you can't teach these people. You really can't teach them. And there's no discussion with them. You can't discuss with them on a realistic, on a facts, on any basis, you know. Okay, so Robert, Octavio is a great guy. He's talented. Yes, he's talented. I think also he's talented, but he's too attached to Jun Fan Kung Fu, yes, and Wing Chun. Yes. Same thing. Can't let go. Can't let go. Hyper Universe, could you give me a channel to check that? Bart seems to have a question. How long need to train to be like Tommy Carruthers? How long to train to get to that level, you mean? I mean, depends on the talent. But you have to train that the same amount he trained. So, get prepared to do thousands of kicks and punches a day. Only until you're 120, probably. Leslie Moore, hello. From one of Eric Carr's Jeet Kune Do students in Los Angeles. Eric Carr's Jeet Kune Do students in LA. My seafood train under Jerry Petit love your videos. Thank you, welcome. Axel Stone, really, from what I've seen, Octavio, he's stuck in the early JKD period. He still emphasizes trapping, Wing Chun attributes much. Wing Chun attributes are much better than concepts, guys. Yeah, he's still chain punching and stuff. Yeah, true. Axel Jesse said it was around 5 feet, but I'm sure they did it from different lengths. Yes. I mean, 8 feet, that's like 2 meters. You wouldn't attack with a IJ from that distance, actually, because it becomes too inefficient at that distance. But you don't need, I mean, that's so far away, you know. Other thing is, if that's the distance that the guy comes towards you and then you go in, you know, so that length gets shorter very quickly, then you could actually attack with the finger jab from that distance, because you're going forward and your opponent's going forward as well. So, it's basically it's basically too fast for anyone to be able to react. Yes, from because half a second you can react in a half a second. Average human reaction time to visuals is about a third of a second. The half a second is, you know, longer than that. So you want to, with your attacks, you want to stay under that half second. But you know, you don't have to telegraph. If you telegraph this, your attacks starts already. So you telegraph and you attack, then that adds to your attacking time. So that's how the aspect of not or non-telegraphic attacks in Jeet Kune Do is so important, because if you telegraph, you just you sabotage yourself. Okay, I say this way. So Robert, the finger jab is very misunderstood. Arguments against it are false arguments such as it is 100% guaranteed every time, or it's only the thing you have to learn. Even if you just do the finger jabs, there's so much about this: footwork, timing, how not to telegraph, distance, cadence, right? Cadence, rhythm, broken rhythm, everything. Okay, it's not just standing and flashing the hand out. It's so much more, really so much more. And this applies to every single puncher as well. Okay, so you in my videos you just see a fraction of it, always just a fraction of it, because I don't show everything in the videos. Logically, right? So Happy Universe. Octavio's attributes are nothing. People get fooled by jittery moves and mistake it for speed, etc. He is stiff, wastes energy, bad form, all trademarks of people who don't know what they are doing. Exostone, he's better than certain other people on YouTube. There's a story about Octavio I could tell you from a seminar Tommy did in LA. It was like some foundation organized thing. Yeah, but I'm not gonna. Hap Universe, I look at Tommy and Thomas, they're relaxed with everything they do. You don't get exhausted looking at them because they know what they're doing. They can perform everything slow as well. Thank you very much. Okay. Octavio is exhausting to watch. I agree, Alex. People get fooled by things. So, actually, he's an actor. Who is an actor? So, I thought he was an MMA guy or something. He's not. Ah, so this Mark Pellegrino. Okay. Mark Pellegrino is an American actor. Okay. I think he's 6'3", so then he's smaller than me. Significantly smaller than me. Bruce Lee sparred professional boxers. Yes, he did. I can't really tell you who. You have to ask John Little. Because you know, professional boxers is everybody who fights for money, boxes for money, so it doesn't really have to be a known boxer, so much known boxer, you know. Okay, I can't drink this to the end. This is disgusting. I need something else now. Ah. Yeah, my wife sometimes she buys stuff. Okay. Leslie Moore, I didn't know BJJ was the same thing as judo, probably. So old school judo, okay, right? So because judo was also watered down by this all Olympic sports stuff, but old school judo was more like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because the Gracies, they learned grappling from a judo guy. You can look this up in the internet, okay? But I'm saying he would have picked out what is useful from any new martial art. So this is a classic misunderstanding of Bruce Lee. It's not a collection of best techniques or from anywhere. Okay. But I mean, you're new here to learn, I guess. So, Anthony Casey, there's no Jeet Kune Do in the TV show Warrior, and a new movie on the way from the Lee family. Anyone who know how is teaching the guy who plays Bruce. Okay, so I haven't watched the series because exactly for the reasons that what I saw in the trailers and fight scenes, you know, I can't watch martial art movies anymore. I just cannot, because at the moment it becomes unrealistic. I just cannot take it seriously, and I rather watch action movies. You know, if you bring this with some guy who is Captain America, who has you know, supernatural abilities, then you can say, okay, this might work because he's supernatural and he can do this stuff. But all this, I just can't watch this anymore. These modern martial art movies are so terrible. Terrible. The 1980 movies are far better. You know, like movie like No Retreat, No Surrender is far better than any modern martial art movie. Or Bloodsport, same. Far better than any modern martial art movie with quadruple size of the budget or even more. I just can't watch this. So let's see what we have further. Q Young says, a friend of mine who used to be a mercenary said that there are two types of people who use fighting martial arts. One who doesn't have any experience in war. One who do, or one who doesn't? Axel Stone, do you think people today know more than they did about martial arts? They used to know? I mean, hard to say. So I would say MMA killed Jeet Kune Do in terms of interest. So all the new guys, newborns, right? So young guys who are just like in their teens, and they most likely the first contact to martial arts is going to be MMA and all these MMA matches in YouTube, and they're just gonna think that's the pinnacle of fighting. And I don't know what could you do to prove it otherwise, other than go to, you know, fight the fighter like this and just eye-jab this guy in a serious street encounter situation, which is so unrealistic, unbelievable unrealistic to for this to happen, right? So Axel Stone, contrary to popular belief, nothing new has actually been created for hundreds of years, maybe even longer. Yeah, probably. We do a lot of headbutts, groin kicks, groin punches, blows, shin kicks, stop kicks, unlike other 10-1 guys. Okay, that's possible. But I'm gonna say you why. It's because Tommy Carruthers and not because of Ted Wong. Maybe also because of my channel, because like you come to my channel, you see all this stuff, and then you go to your teacher and you say, why don't we do this as well? Because this is clearly Jeet Kune Do. Then what can he say? Well, we do Ted Wong kickboxing, because Ted Wong himself, he said on 2 occasions that what he was teaching was sport fighting. He was asked on 2 seminars with all the people as witnesses. And what that means, that Ted Wong didn't teach eye jabs. He didn't teach side kicks to the knees, or leg obstructions to the knees, or front hook kicks with the heel to the knees. He didn't teach any kind of groin kick. He kicked always to the body, always to the upper body, and he just punched regular punching combinations: straight lead, left, corkscrew, a right hook, and stuff like this. Okay, so that's what Ted Wong taught. Okay. And I was in, I met Ted Wong. We did a 2-day seminar at Tommy's school, and that's exactly what he taught. Side kick to the body, hook kick to the body, and punches to the head, and some body punches. Okay. The footwork and everything was okay, right? So that, don't understand me wrong. So all the half beat stuff and how you move when you punch this and everything, that's legit, okay? But no vulnerable targets at all. Robert. Jeet Kune Do 16th century military fencing and 18th century boxing. I guess Bruce was more influenced by 19th to 20th century boxing. Anthony Case, Bruce was a pointer to the truth in Jeet Kune Do, so is Tommy as well. The truth will always come out on the top. In theory, but it's difficult. It's difficult. For us to be instructors, everyone in our group must fight a professional boxer first in boxing rules. What? That doesn't make any sense. So you have to box in boxing rules to be a Jeet Kune Do instructor, or what? Farid Asman, Michael Chapla, for example, did it several times. He's the highest level instructor under... Is this the Polish guy? Is this the Polish guy? The Rhino faked his flight and wanted the waiver for him for a sparring match? I guess that's the guy. He's the highest level under Marcelo. Okay, okay. Okay. Another influence in the old American fighting style of rough and tumble fighting. Okay, never heard about that. We also train a lot of palm hooks. Farid says. So Axel Stone, yeah, don't recommend headbutts. Nay, I don't recommend headbutts at all as well, because you can injure yourself. You can do it sometimes if you're really close up and you're under. The guy is higher than you and you can go up, you know, and headbutt his chin or something like this. But I would never go like this, okay? So maybe like this is better. But then you can hook punch the groin or something when you're there, or open palm the groin, right? And even then, when you're in this position, you can then do double leg takedown, okay? Because you can do this as well in Jeet Kune Do, but when you're in a position, you don't go from far away to this, because it doesn't make sense distance-wise. Because, you know, like Bruce did it in Way of the Dragon, where he ducked under the punch and he did a double leg takedown to who was it, Bob Wall, and then he punched into his groin. So in this case you can do this as well. So it's not like it's not there, but it's very, very, very rare, and you would do it if you're already like in this position. Okay, so you don't go for this. Okay, you don't look for this. Paul Wonak does a lot of headbutts, but everything I have seen is that guy was sloppy. I don't care how great people make him out to be. Yeah, he is very, very heavy into JKD concepts, Kali, Silat, and all this drum beats training. Like, okay, so we do a lot of training against multiple opponents and attacking from neutral stance. Yes, that's also not Ted Wong, Farid. So you see, that's Tommy Carruthers. So, and if Joaquin Marcelo does that, that's what he saw from Tommy, and then he put his own ideas how to develop that, because that's nothing. Again, he should give credit to Tommy for this, because Ted Wong never talked that. The Tommy was also not talked this from by Ted, but by Jesse and by Howard Williams. Okay. Farid, does Tommy teach hammer fist because we focus more on it than back fist? What is a hammer fist? You do the back fist like this, and the hammer fist would go like this, or you mean like this? If you punch the guy with this, you can break your hand here. Okay, so that's why you would go like more with this 3 knuckles instead of just one When you punch, you have just one knuckle here, and the fist can break here. And this bone breaks the easiest on the hand. Okay, that's why you have to. Oops. So I'm gonna show you something. Just a second. So this is, who knows what this is? Anyone knows what this is? Okay, guys, come on. So this is a hockey puck, okay, right? So you can, if you're on travel, yes, puck. If you're on travel, you can use this for conditioning knuckles, okay? So, you know, you can do this in a hotel room, you can do this in train when you're traveling, when you're away from home. So you always keep your knuckles conditioned. So you condition your knuckles, but what happens is also that the bones behind get more denser and then don't break as easily. So you should do that, okay? So let's listen to them further.
He went out to eat lunch. I remember Mito Uehara used to publish Black Belt magazine telling me he had lunch with Bruce, and during lunch, Bruce would be going,
I read about that. I have read about that long before he told the story. Then when Bruce, there's two different ways you can do this. So you can do this with the TV, or you can do this with people, just watching people. And you try to anticipate the movement, and just before the movement happens, you can react like with the hand movement, or you just make a sound. So you just react somehow to this, or like he says, between the beats. Okay, so you want to react between beats. What this helps, when somebody punches a combination and he punches 1, 2 and comes with the third one, this can be also punch and kick, and you evade the first one and you want to attack before the second punch comes, or second technique, or before the third technique comes, and then you punch, you counter between his beats. Okay, so you train your brain to be able to even to anticipate that, or to see that, and be able to recognize the beat pattern. Okay, so Axel Stone, I wanted to see in Indiana Jones. Yeah, I'm not gonna see the movie. We do hammer fist with the side to side hands. So you would go like this, or so no, go like this, okay, because this is not very good. This is better. So you go here. And the hammer fist would be actually most of the time downwards, okay? But in what situation would you punch like that? So.
and Mito's going like, Bruce, what the hell are you doing? You know, and Bruce said, sorry, I'm looking at the guy behind you eating there, and I'm trying to come in on the half beat when he's moving his fork to his mouth. So again, it was broken rhythm. It was all fight related stuff. He would sit in his office and have 2 tape recorders hooked up to a headset. And one ear, loud traffic noises, airplanes taking off, and the other one, the slow, soft drip of water. And he would crank the traffic noises up, but focus so he could only hear the water drop.
Okay, this is a little bit misunderstanding how he explains that. I have read about that also, like 30 years ago or something. That that he had like headphones, and in one ear you had this loud noises, and another one just drop of water, and then he would make the loud noises louder, so he can barely hear the drop of water, but he would still concentrate and focus. He would still try to hear this despite all this loudness. Today you could do this far easier. You just open two videos on the computer, and you just make, let's say one video you make your music loud, and on the other video it's some different sound, maybe a drop of water or something else, and you just tune this down so you can barely hear it, and you try to hear it all through all these noises. It's just a concentration exercise, right? So that's how Bruce focused on all this stuff, like in everyday life, okay, not just while training. For close distance, when you miss the hook, so when you miss the hook, you can come back with the back fist, or you can go with the other hand, you know. So there's a clip where Tommy punches 1 2 3 or 1 2, so you can go straight hook back fist, or you can even go straight back fist and hook. You can combine hook with the back fist or back fist with the hook. So the combination is like the idea if the first one misses, and then you go with the hook, and your partner pulls the pad away and opens the other pad, and then you come back with the back fist immediately, right? Twitch TV. Are you streaming on Twitch, Storm to Dust? What about elbow strikes in close range? So you can do them. I've done video about that. So not when the opponent is front of you. If you punch, like you punch him and he blocks you like this, you can follow up with the elbow. And he's on the side. You can go with the elbow. He's behind you. You can go with the elbow, or you can go like this on the elbow, or he is like beside you on the front, and you can go here with the elbow instead of, you know, if you can reach it better than with a punch. But if he is in front of you, you won't go in for the elbow, you know, because that's not the range of the technique. So you see many going with the elbow from far away, which is stupid. Xiu Long Lee. What is the proper fist in Jeet Kune Do? Vertical, horizontal? It depends. They are all viable depending on the distance, on the angle, and the target you want to hit. So you can, yeah, so horizontal is typical when you punch in front of you, okay, with a straight lead. If the opponent is slightly to the left, you can use the corkscrew, right? And if you go to the body, you would use more the horizontal one, for example. Okay, and if you punch over the shoulder, you use also the corkscrew. And if the guy is smaller, then it would be the horizontal one, you know. So it depends. Okay. It's not just it's not like karate. It's where it's always like this. Okay. So Anthony Casey. No, there's a new film. The guy did Couching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Is the Dune baking the movie? It's baked by the Lee family. Finger crossed it will be a good. Here's an Oscar winner director. Okay, okay. I really not. I'm not tracking the stuff. So Farid Ahmed, we do it for more damage. It's more age. It's more heavy than back fists. Okay, it depends on the body mechanics. I can show you a back fist that's really strong, where you rotate your body like with the left hook. When you do the right back fist, you rotate your body actually like with the left hook. So Xiu Long Lee, bare knuckle fighters from the past usually hit the body to avoid broken hands. Well, they should condition their knuckles. Did Bruce prefer punching body or head with the conditioned knuckles? Head, definitely. Okay. So, yes, I would say that. So, let's go.
And the reason he did that was that, by his explanation, was you are fastest and able to react the quickest when you're totally relaxed, when you're almost asleep.
Yes.
So if I can relax.
So even when people are tensed, the reaction time increases.
My mind, I can react much quicker. So this is not a normal guy, right? This is not a martial arts.
Okay, this Mike Pellegrino, he looks like actually the guy who played Lucifer in Supernatural. So, and I'm gonna show you, just for fun, who am I talking about?
This type of guy who
So, super... This great actor. Lucifer. Supernatural. So who is the... Okay, that's... his name is... Oh, that's Mark Pellegrino. That's him. Ah, amazing. Well, I didn't think his what he's doing on this podcast. But I know this actor. He's a great actor, man. That's him. He played amazing. Hey, that's really amazing, man. That's really amazing. So this guy, guys, he played Lucifer in Supernatural. You know, with Winchester Brothers and stuff. He did the role really great, but I don't think he's that huge. Because Jared Padalecki is actually a big guy, and I don't think Mark Pellegrino was as big as him. So what does he have to do with martial arts? I have to watch the whole interview because I didn't.
You know, hey, we had a good match, shake hands, and then go for a beer or something afterwards. This was a guy that was deadly serious about it, and good enough, despite what Norris et al. Had said afterwards, that they went to him for instruction. Yeah. They might tell the media that he was just a movie guy, but a martial arts world champion doesn't go and study with a movie guy. And the only reason they would have gone to study with him is because Bruce would have told them or shown them what he had. So
hey, I mean, Chuck Norris.
Okay, he's 185. Okay, he's pretty big, but he's 3, 4, 5, 5.5 inches smaller than me. Okay, nice.
This is the real deal, but when you see the two of them together, Bruce Lee makes him look like he's standing still. I mean,
yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like for me, I used to be a fan. I didn't know much about martial arts until I studied it. But I thought my eyes didn't deceive me. This guy's very good. It's exceptional. But then the martial artists came out like Chuck Norris saying, well, he was an actor. You know, I was a world champion. He didn't mention he was a world champion of non-contact, but he was a world champion. Bruce was an actor. Other guys would tell me how they, you know, taught Bruce how to kick, and another guy taught me how Bruce couldn't really fight. It was this and that. And it was only when I really got into my research on Bruce and saw documents within his estate, and that you could see the reality of it. People that claimed that they were tight with him and taught him, they're not even in his daytime diaries. People that, you know, they claim they taught him how to kick high.
And all these guys who were lying about connection to Bruce, and they were taught by Bruce, and they were teaching Bruce or stuff. These are the guys who are supported by nowadays, you know, guys who actually misunderstand Jeet Kune Do.
When then I see footage of him in, you know, 1962 kicking above his head, and it's like, well, you didn't meet him till 67, so how'd you teach him how to kick high? You know, but there, it seems to be an attitude. And you probably experience this in martial arts, that everybody's Sifu or everybody's sensei is the deadliest guy on the planet. You know, he can kill anybody, and you don't want to get on his bad side. And same thing, he didn't compete because he was too lethal and he'd, you know, kill you and all this sort of nonsense. Bruce Lee was a guy that a lot of martial artists would cross the street when he came down, which is odd because he's 5'7.5" and $138. But he was, as Bob Wall told me once, he said, you know, it was with Bruce, he said it was not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And there was a lot of fight in Bruce Lee. And I almost think it's a primal thing in a fight. It's why we tend to have almost a reflex that if a guy is bigger, you walk a little softer, because you know in a subconscious level what kind of energy output you're going to have to engage in to surmount that. And it's the same thing. You know, guys, I'm sure you do, guys that you can see in their eyes that you don't want to mess with this guy. You know, Sonny Liston apparently was like that. Mike Tyson and his friend Roberto Duran was like that.
So
you just
when it comes to fighting, it's a lot about the personality. Okay, so like Bruce said, you have to take it seriously.
knew that you were
Or you make a fake plane tickets. That's also a way.
in a lot of trouble, and you'd better be willing to have the fight of your life and output the most amount of energy you've ever output in your life just to emerge unscathed. And I think we can read that. We've all, been around people when a tough guy, a legitimately tough guy comes in, and you just know this is not a guy you're going to take lightly. And I think Bruce Lee was like that as well. He reminds me of Roberto Duran, actually. There was that savagery to it when he went. And anyway, I'm sorry, it was a long-winded rant, but
yeah, I haven't wanted to interrupt, even though we've gone over time. But yeah, I'm like that too. By the way, people they don't want to mess with me.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Okay, but one final question to both of you. Mark, which historical figure would you want to play? Asks Katie, and she asks John, whose story should be told that hasn't?
You want to go first, Mark?
You go ahead first, John, and I'll think of
a historical figure.
No. Well, yeah, any person alive or dead whose story should be told the way you've told other people's stories.
So
I would like to do Mike Mentzer's story.
I guess that should be it. I really want to know what Mark Pellegrino does here with John Little. The best Lucifer actor ever. So some guys in the comment sections, they just troll, right? So then you look at their channels, or okay, that's an old channel. Yeah. So okay, so what do we have here, guys, in the comment section? So Anthony Casey, no, there's a new film. Okay, so I've already read that. Robert says hockey puck. Absolutely, that's a hockey puck. That was a recommendation from Tommy. So when you travel, you can use this, so you can still condition your hands, or at least hold them on that condition level. Yeah. Xiu Long. Did Bruce really prefer the last 3 knuckles over the first 2? Absolutely. Yeah. You know why? So when you have your hand like this, so let's see if we can show that. So like this. Okay, so let me turn myself this way. So that's a natural position of your wrist, right? That is your natural position of your wrist. Now you close the fist. Okay. Now you see how there's a straight line goes here. Straight line. Wait, so here. Okay. So if you would use these 2 knuckles, you would have to bend the fist in an unnatural way. So you see how the line breaks here. You have to have the straight line. Then you can use these 2, primarily with the last one. Okay, so that's why it's all like based on physics. So that's not just like I like it this way, I don't like it this way, that's why I do it this way. So there's a purpose behind it, why it's done why it is done that way. Except for low body shots. Well, depends. I mean, depends on the angle, but you always have your should the fist have like this and not like this. Okay, this is the way. Mandalorian. Anthony, it's just what the people see in the new movie. I think that's real Jeet Kune Do. Farid, I allow shovel hooks and body hooks kicks in combination. I've dropped people with this one. Yeah, I mean, depends on the distance, right? I also love body front kick. So front kick to the body, followed up with a rear straight elbow. Okay, that doesn't sound very efficient. Front kick and then rear elbow. Okay, and the knee to the tight or groin. That sounds very inefficient. Anthony, what's the story with Emil Martosian and his cheat code? Well, he's a self-taught guy or self-promoted guy. Let's put it this way. And he used to be on Tommy's forum like before the like in the 0 years. I can remember that Tommy had some discussion with him and he kicked him out of his forum. So bear in mind, this is like almost 15 years ago. So I just picked this up from my memory. And if they had a back and forth in the forum back then. And now a student of his is he's surveilling his our channel like 24/7, and his student is a world class MMA fighter. Everybody knows him. He's very well known worldwide. But for some reason he's watching our channel because we are so bad. He has to watch our channel. I don't know why. Right? Okay. I'm glad we have cleared this up. We also sometimes do leg kicks. No, we don't kick legs. We kick knees and ankles and groin. So when you aim to the leg, it should be knee. Okay, it's most effective. Most effective. Hyper Universe, Afari, the hammer principle was only for competitions. Yeah, hammer principle is something different than hammer fist, but you're right. The hammer principle was only for competition, for scoring points. You say it heavier, but because hammer principle is like going from here forward, okay. And Bruce talked this to make points, okay. So because if you look at that body mechanics, it's weaker to punch from there than to punch from the right alignment. So this would be the right alignment when you punch from there. Okay, then you punch like this, like scissor type punch. Okay, instead of like this. Okay. See you long. It's necessary to condition feet. No, that's not necessary. Don't waste time with that. What? Because you kick with your hook kick, you kick mostly to the groin, right? And you kick to the legs or to the shin with a side kick, so you don't have to condition your sole, right? At what point is the front kick useful? To the groin, most useful to the groin. Sometimes also under the kneecap. You can dislocate it if you have stable shoes. I mean, really stable shoes like security shoes or something. You can even use this to kick to the shin as well. Does Tommy recommend spin kicks? No. Okay, so spin kick, it's really unnecessary. Big movement, takes a lot of time. You can miss easily, you can slip. Okay. And the helicopter kick, right? Yes. Did Bruce Lee do foot stomps? Yes. You can like that's like a side kick to the ankle. Okay. Low, very low angled side kick, where you also twist your hip in and everything, like just like with the side kick. So. Okay. Yeah. So is there anything we can talk about this today? Because I would wrap it up for today. He's so hot here. We have like 36 degrees Celsius, and I'm here in you know, on the top of my house, the warmest point. So I'm just gonna read martial arts. Did he do any martial art? Explains how martial arts has changed. Mark Pellegrino on martial arts and life. He did kickboxing, judo, karate, jiu-jitsu. Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. He did kickboxing, judo, karate, jiu-jitsu, and Thai boxing. A professional. He did a professional? Uh-huh. Let's see some YouTube videos. Mark. Thai boxing. Okay. So there's no video of him actually fighting. So I guess this is not real, right? Because you didn't do any tournament. Does he have his own podcast? Tim, oh no, Tim Pool, please not, man. Months ago. Okay, okay. So yeah, what do we have here? So it's not a hammer principle. Yeah, hammer principle is something different, like I explained. Why did Bruce and Joe Louis have a falling out? I don't know if they had a falling out while Bruce still was alive, but Joe Louis was also one of the guys claiming he beat up Bruce in sparring and stuff. But I heard another story how some things went, and then also when I watched Bruce Joe Louis move, I would say no, I don't think so. Okay. So did Bruce Lee believe in attack first or wait to counter? Okay, so intercepting may look like as attacking first to the bystander, because you attack the moment the guy shifts weight and comes towards you. Looks like you attacked first, where actually he made the first move. So that's what actually Bruce believed in very, very heavily. Farid Ahmed, is Michael Chapla legit? Here's a Ted Wong guy. I mean, Ted Wong guys are Ted Wong guys. Is martial arts popular in Serbia or just basketball? So in Serbia, popular is soccer, football, right? So the real football, basketball, waterball, volleyball, tennis, very, very popular. Yeah? We have the world-class best tennis player. Then martial arts, not so much, right? So maybe it's incoming a little bit, but martial arts not really much. So we had always the world best sportsmen. For some reason, really small country like 7 million population. But you know, it's weird. Okay, very good individuals, sports people, or sportsmen. How you say? Okay, in tennis, football as well. Always basketball anyway. So we have beat the Dream Team several times in tournaments, the American Dream Team. Waterball, like volleyball as well, and how you say this in English, right? Yeah, volleyball. I said volleyball as volleyball. I already said. Okay. Ah, yeah. Well, handball. It's not so popular in the US but that's also where we're pretty strong. Okay. So well, I live in Germany, so I'm partly German. I'm partly Serbian. So. Okay. So that's why I'm so huge, because this, you know, the Yugos, all the Yugos, they're in average pretty big people, and me as well. So despite his training with Bruce, Joe Louis still seems very stiff. Do you agree? Yes, I do. Because he comes from karate, so I guess it's pretty hard. The karate style is very stiff style, Shotokan, I guess, and to iron this out, you'd probably you would have to train twice as much as you trained karate to just iron that stiffness out. Do you ever watch Glory Kickboxing? No. Farid, congrats, man! You have almost 10K. Yeah, we're gonna do 10K stream as well. That's gonna be probably somewhere in September or something. Can you possibly get an interview with Mike Stone about Bruce, who's still alive in Philippines? Who is Mike Stone? Ah, that's the karate guy. I don't know, but you know why I don't do interviews on my channel? Because this would take planning, scheduling, appointments, when we do this, how we do this, do I have to pay the guy, you know? These guys don't just come for free. I'm not gonna pay for this. I work full time, I have family, I don't do this on a professional basis on any sense, so even teaching and training, right? I don't make any money with this, apart of just to fill a little bit of gas in the tank. Okay, so that's why I don't do that. It's been around 2 years following me. Yeah, well, actually, it's about 2 years ago I started to make serious videos. Before that, I just made some short videos and stuff. Nothing really serious. When you watch my first videos, they're terrible. So Thomas Omar 1. Another problem is that Mike Stone does not know you to begin with. Yes, we don't know if he would accept it. Yes, I mean, I'm nobody, right? So if my channel had like 100,000K or something, okay, then he would say, oh, what's this channel? Well, I don't know. The Kung Fu Genius guy, he does a lot of interviews. I don't really watch his videos unless it's somebody I'm interested in. Okay. He has less subs than I do, so I don't know. I don't really know. It's easier transition to real Jeet Kune Do from boxing as opposed to Wing Chun or karate. From boxing easier, from karate easier. Wing Chun the most difficult transition, the most difficult. Yeah. So absolutely. The the Wing Chun guys, I had a few students that came from Wing Chun, and all of them had one thing in common. They had it was very difficult for them to apply Jeet Kune Do in any sense, and all of them at one point stopped coming to training because it was, you know, it's also the amount of training I can offer is limited because I'm not a professional teacher. I have to work full time, I have family, I have to work because I need money, right? Everybody needs money, and I cannot teach them 5 days a week. So I can teach them once a week, and if they want, as a students from a school, they can take private lessons for very little money if they want. But the schedule is also, because I don't just accept private lessons easily, because I don't have really time to give them. I don't want to take this time from my family and from my own training to teach people private. And that's why, because the stupid guy from that continent was posting about this, how expensive my private lessons are, like $250 per hour. But that's just because I don't want to give them. And if somebody really wants to take them, he has to take this, pay this money if he's not my student already in the school. I don't want to waste my time for $50 going somewhere in the evening and teach the guy, and then in the next morning in 6 hour in the morning stand up again and go to work. Okay, that's if I use this time, you have to pay me. And so nobody so far had took these lessons for this money, and that's exactly what I want. If you're really serious about this, you can pay me, and I'm not wasting any time for $50 or something, because it's just not worth it. My time is very valuable, and that's why I actually don't give private lessons. Yeah, so to that moron. You transitioned from boxing to Jeet Kune Do. It was easy. Okay, I would like to see that. I would like, you know, this is somebody who claims this, and then I come and I hold in pads, and I can make my mind up if that's really true. Omar, I wonder what Mike Stone would answer if someone asks him if he ever had sparring session with Bruce. Well, either he had or he hadn't. I mean, I never sparred Tommy, so Tommy taught me, and I learned, and I had to train for myself. And that's because this idiot from the other continent, again, you know, he did that interview with the other guy from former students for like 200 years ago from Tommy, who claimed I was like 1 year students from Tommy, which is totally stupid, because of course I have seen Tommy approx like 2 times a year on a 5-day camp or 2-day camps, whatever, and I was taught, you know. And I trained while I was taught, and I had to train myself, because the way they depicted that was like I just train once a year and then I don't train. And I can bet you that I train a lot more than that guy that was a former student of Tommy, and I put a lot more hours in that. And that's probably the problem he has with me, because I got the paper and he didn't. And according to Tommy, the other student of Tommy's said that this Paul guy, he told to other guy that he just wanted to pay the paper from Tommy. And then Tommy heard about that. He asked him, is that true? And he denied it, but never came back to the school. And now 12 years later, he does the interview with this moron from the other continent and claims stuff like this. And also he also claimed the challenge from Rick Young was real. Why don't you ask just Rick Young? Do the interview with Rick Young and ask him. I guess you're gonna find some excuses like Rick Young doesn't want to say it or something. Okay, yes. Then everything can be true. If you can prove it, you can just claim it. Yeah, we know how it works, you know? Just claim with no facts. These guys are the best. World-class MMA fighters. So, because I always use strong side forward, okay? I wonder, Mike Stone took Priscilla Presley from Elvis, and Elvis almost out Hitman for him. Okay. Okay. Interesting. How's your gym training going on? Yeah, it's going pretty well. I have some problems with my right elbow, so I have to cut it a little bit down. Like a tennis elbow for some reason. I didn't actually train the days and it just came. How fast was Tommy when you first met him? Very fast. Yeah, I was very impressed. It looked faster than in the videos, because the videos, they make you actually a little bit slower. Because, you know, you watch it from the side on two-dimensional screen, and you can really track every movement with your eyes, because you know where to look at and stuff. But in person, you know, it looks even faster. Okay. So that was like 2008. It's like 15 years ago. Imara, that's an irrelevant matter. So guys, I would say that's enough for today, okay? So I have to go somewhere where it's not that hot and too warm. And thanks for being here. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.